that's applying the actual membrane and the fabric or the reinforcing tape to all the joints. So what I actually did was put down a wetting layer first in all the joints and the corners, and then I pressed the fabric or tape into those joints, making sure that the rubber strip side was down, and then I coated over the top with the actual pond liner rubber membrane. So one thing I noticed about this Cromlin Pond Sealer in black is that when you actually open up the lid for the first time, you can see that it's actually got a purpley blue kind of a look to it. Don't freak out. Just got to give it a good stir, and it'll go on looking sort of purple and black or indigo kind of a colour. But as it dries, as you can see behind me, it just dries to a plain, straight jet black. And it does say that on the instructions. Righto, so you can tell the light's fading a bit here. It's about 4 in the afternoon, and I've done that first coat of the Cromlin Pond Sealer in black. And like I mentioned before, I brushed it on in that direction. So this time, my second coat, I'm going to brush in the perpendicular direction, and that way it just helps to fill in any little gaps or missed areas and get a good coverage. So let's get started. Rain, wouldn't you know it? So I had 2 coats down on the tank, and I had 48 hours for that to cure, which was fine, and 2 coats is generally enough, but I want to go for 3, maybe even 4 coats, because I'm a bit of a OCD character, and then that last coat I want to apply some decorative sand finishes to it also. So this rain has sort of put me on the back burner for a while, and I have to wait for some more dry weather. And so definitely on an outdoor pond or outdoor tank build, patience is the key. What have I just done? You can see down beside me this crazy looking little rock glued structure. I've got a bit of an idea, and I'm thinking I might be able to create a bit of a biotype tank here of the Coffs Harbour streams and the rainbow fish and turtles that live in those streams. Collect some local materials, get some local driftwood, and part of that was to kind of try and decorate and make the back walling of this tank as natural looking as possible. And the fact that it's made from timber gives me an interesting advantage compared to glass, in that I can actually fix things to it. And not only that, I think I can fix things through it. So, for example, I might have some driftwood. Driftwood might come out from this back wall out into the water column, and I can actually screw from behind through the wall of the tank into the butt of the driftwood to support it so it hovers in the water. But anyway, back to the rocks. So here I've actually used the same polyurethane sealant and adhesive that I used to fill these joints, and I've just glued these stones onto this wall. Little prop there just to hold the bigger one up, and tomorrow I'll see if the actual glue sets quite well. My intention for this wall is 2 more coats of the Cromlin Black Pond Sealer. The final coat, I'm going to broadcast river sand into the surface to make it look like it's an eroded cut riverbank. And part of an eroded cut riverbank is it exposes larger stones, river stones. So quite possibly, if this little experiment works, I might actually cut with a brick saw or a grinder larger river stones, cut a nice flat surface and adhere them onto the back of this tank, and then apply the coats of Black Pond Sealer, broadcast the river sand, and create that cut eroded riverbank scene. Righto guys, remember this? These are the stones that I did an experiment with and used polyurethane adhesive sealer to actually glue onto this corner wall to see if it would work. That was onto the second coat of the pond sealer. Well, today I put on a third coat, and the old problem I've discovered is the big old brush I'm applying with is clearly not going to get in around that, around those stones, to provide that third layer. The intention with this was to create 3 layers of pond sealer across the entire tank, then glue the stonework onto the wall, let that set, and then use the 4th layer of pond sealer to actually broadcast the river sand into. But of course, what that would require is that I'm able to apply that 4th layer of pond sealer all the way around all the stones, nice and neatly, not getting any pond sealer onto the actual stones, and then apply the sand. But that's just not going to happen. Not unless a tiny little brush, but I'm talking about a lot of stones in a big tank. So that solution is out the window. So we'll come up with another idea. So I've got an idea. This pond sealer in black actually looks pretty good. Like, it's got a textured finish to it. Black will look good as a background in most aquariums. It disguises algae and that kind of thing. But I want to take it to a next level. I want to make this look a bit more natural. I want it to make it look like I'm snorkeling in a creek, I'm looking through the water, and I'm seeing the bank on the other side, and it's just the river sand and some stones and things. So I've got one more coat of black sealer to do. That'll make 4 coats. And what I might do with that last coat is apply sand into the finish, so it sticks into it, a coarse river sand, it sticks into it, and actually give that effect, take away some of the blackness and create a bit more of a natural feel. But I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. You ready? Let's see if this works. True to form, information is key, and just like my wife would say, I've gone like a bull to gate. So the old blower doesn't quite work. I thought I'd be able to have a bit of a sandblasting effect, but it seems that the actual pond seal just dries too quick, and I can't just do a big area and then blast it with the air and the sand and have it stick. I need to actually do it a bit more carefully, bit by bit. Paint some sealer, throw some sand in. Not quite as exciting, but hopefully a bit more efficient.
you make me move.
Well guys, here's the final effect, and I think it looks pretty good. So this is the 4th coat of Cromwell Pond Sealer in black, and although the sandblasting effect didn't quite work, and yes, I went like a boulder gate, the watering down of that pond sealer to make a more runny mix, and a real slap-on approach to painting, and then pretty promptly throwing the sand in afterwards, seemed to work fairly well. This hasn't actually fully dried yet. All I've done was clean off the base, which I didn't paint by the way. I'll give that a final 4th coat by itself later. And I blew off the excess sand with my blower just to get rid of too much depth to it that wasn't going to adhere anyway, and let the underlying pond sealer and sand cure. So I think this is a pretty good effect, and it was pretty easy. It's great being outside because unfortunately it looks like I've got some paint spatter around the place to clean up. But anyway, that's part of being creative, I guess. So I'll let this dry, and I think I might revisit the stone effect later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to the Australian Aquarius YouTube channel. We'll do all sorts of things, fresh, salt and pond. DIY projects, collecting, exploring, renovating old fish ponds. See you next time.